Have you ever felt the gut-wrenching sting of someone's desperate attempts to win you back? The frantic texts, the manipulative gestures, the sudden shower of attention you once craved. It's a dizzying dance of emotions, part ego boost, part irritation, with a dash of pity thrown in. But what if I told you that this moment of their desperation is actually your gateway to unprecedented personal power? Welcome to the Stoic's Guide to Turning Indifference into Your Secret Weapon. Buckle up. You're about to learn why they get desperate when they realize you've lost interest and how that knowledge can catapult you leagues ahead of the competition. Before we begin, if you find value in this video, don't forget to leave a comment and hit that like button. Your engagement helps us create more content to fuel your journey towards Stoic wisdom and personal growth. The illusion of control, why they can't let go. Picture this. You're at a carnival, confidently tossing rings at bottles, convinced you've mastered the game. Suddenly the carny switches out your target, and your perfect technique becomes useless. That's exactly how it feels when someone realizes you've lost interest. Their illusion of control shatters, leaving them grasping at straws. This desperate scramble isn't just about you. It's a reflection of their own insecurities and attachments. When we become fixated on controlling others' perceptions and feelings towards us, we set ourselves up for a psychological tailspin. The moment that control slips away, panic sets in, and rational thought goes out the window. But here's where Stoicism offers a game-changing perspective. The ancient Stoics understood that true power comes from focusing on what's within our control, our own thoughts, actions, and responses. They recognized that attempting to manipulate others' feelings or behaviors is a fool's errand, leading only to frustration and disappointment. By embracing this Stoic wisdom, we can free ourselves from the exhausting cycle of seeking external validation. Instead of frantically trying to regain someone's interest, we learn to find contentment in our own values and actions. This shift not only brings inner peace, but also, ironically, often makes us more attractive to others. As we move forward, remember, the only true control you have is over yourself. By mastering this principle, you'll not only avoid falling into the trap of desperation, but also cultivate a magnetic sense of self-assurance that sets you apart from the crowd. Unmasking the ego, when your indifference becomes their obsession. Did you know that 85% of our self-esteem is tied to how we believe others perceive us? This staggering statistic reveals why your disinterest can trigger such an intense reaction in others. When you withdraw your attention, you're not just removing yourself from the equation, you're challenging their very sense of self-worth. The ego, that fragile construct of self-image and pride, goes into overdrive when faced with indifference. It can't comprehend being deemed unimportant or uninteresting. So it resorts to desperate measures, bombarding you with messages, manufacturing drama, or even resorting to manipulation. All of these are futile attempts to reassert its perceived importance in your life. But here's the kicker. This obsessive behavior says far more about them than it does about you. It's a glaring sign of an ego-driven life, where self-worth is perpetually at the mercy of external validation. The Stoics would view this as a form of slavery, being chained to the opinions and attention of others. So how do we break free from this ego-driven cycle? The Stoics offer us powerful techniques. Start by practicing negative visualization. Imagine losing the things you value, including people's attention. This exercise helps reduce attachment and builds resilience. Another technique is voluntary discomfort. Intentionally putting yourself in situations where you might be ignored or dismissed. Over time, these practices strengthen your internal locus of control. Remember, managing your own ego is just as crucial. When you find yourself craving someone's attention or validation, pause. Ask yourself, is this serving my higher purpose, or is it just feeding my ego? By consistently challenging your ego's demands, you'll develop a rock-solid sense of self that doesn't crumble in the face of others' indifference or obsession. The power shift. How disinterest disrupts their reality. Have you ever wondered why your sudden disinterest can turn someone's world upside down? It's not just about hurt feelings or bruised egos. It's a fundamental disruption of the power dynamics they've grown accustomed to. When you withdraw your interest, you're essentially rewriting the rules of engagement, and that can be incredibly unsettling for those who've taken your attention for granted. In any relationship, personal or professional, there's an unspoken balance of power. Often this balance tilts in favor of the person who seems to care less. When you were invested, perhaps even overly so, you inadvertently handed over a degree of control. Your attention, your eagerness to please, your constant availability, all of these became tools that others could use to maintain their position of power. But the moment you pull back, something remarkable happens. The power dynamic shifts dramatically. Suddenly, you're no longer playing by their rules. You've introduced an element of unpredictability that throws them off balance. They can no longer rely on your predictable responses or your constant presence. This uncertainty is what drives their desperate attempts to regain control. The Stoics understood this power dynamic all too well. They advocated for maintaining an internal locus of control, focusing on what you can influence rather than external factors. By doing so, you become less susceptible to manipulation and more capable of maintaining emotional equilibrium. Epictetus famously said, "The chief task in life is simply this, to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control." Applying this Stoic principle to your interactions can be transformative. Instead of getting caught up in the push and pull of others' reactions to your disinterest, focus on your own choices and responses. Are you acting in alignment with your values? Are you maintaining your integrity? These are the questions that truly matter. By shifting your focus inward and detaching from the need for others' approval or attention, you not only regain your power, but also cultivate a sense of inner peace. This doesn't mean becoming cold or uncaring. Rather, it's about engaging with others from a place of self-assurance and genuine choice, rather than need or habit. Master this, and you'll find yourself naturally rising above the fray, unshaken by the desperate scrambling of those who've suddenly realized they no longer hold sway over you. Breaking free, the liberation of lost interest. Losing interest isn't a failure, it's a superpower. This might sound counterintuitive, but hear me out. When you genuinely lose interest in something or someone that no longer serves your growth, you unlock a level of freedom that most people never experience. Think about all the situations where you've clung to something out of habit, fear, or a misplaced sense of obligation. Maybe it's a dead-end job, a toxic relationship, or a goal that no longer aligns with your values. Your genuine disinterest in these scenarios isn't just acceptable, it's a catalyst for positive change. The Stoics understood this concept deeply. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." By letting go of what no longer interests us, we free ourselves from the poverty of endless wanting. We create space for new opportunities, relationships, and experiences that truly align with our current selves. But how do we cultivate this liberating detachment? The Stoics offer several practices. One is the technique of voluntary discomfort, where you intentionally give up something you enjoy for a period. This exercise helps break the grip of attachment and shows you that you can indeed live without things you once thought essential. Another powerful practice is regular self-reflection. Set aside time each day to question your interests and attachments. Are they serving your highest good? Are they aligned with your core values? This constant re-evaluation helps you shed what's no longer relevant and focus your energy on what truly matters. Remember, the goal isn't to become aloof or disconnected from the world. Rather, it's about engaging with life from a place of conscious choice rather than compulsive attachment. By mastering the art of losing interest in what doesn't serve you, you gain the ultimate freedom, the ability to direct your life's limited time and energy towards what truly fulfills you. The art of graceful exits, navigating their desperation. Picture this. You're at a party, ready to leave, when suddenly the host becomes overly insistent that you stay. They offer more drinks, suggest another activity, anything to keep you there. That uncomfortable moment. It's a microcosm of what happens when someone realizes you've lost interest on a larger scale. Dealing with others' desperate attempts to regain your attention or maintain a connection can be challenging. It's easy to get pulled back in by guilt, manipulation, or sheer persistence. But remember, you're not responsible for managing their emotions or soothing their ego. Your primary duty is to yourself and your own growth. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus offers wisdom here. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In other words, be prepared for others to misunderstand or criticize your choices. Their desperate reactions are often more about their own insecurities than your actions. So how do you navigate these tricky waters? Start by being clear and firm in your communication. Don't leave room for ambiguity or false hope. At the same time, approach the situation with compassion. Remember, their desperation often stems from fear or pain. You can be kind without compromising your boundaries. Practice the Stoic virtue of courage. It takes guts to stand firm in the face of emotional manipulation or guilt-tripping. Remind yourself that by maintaining your boundaries, you're not just serving yourself, but also providing an opportunity for the other person to grow and become more self-reliant. Lastly, focus on what you can control, your own actions and responses. You can't control how others react to your disinterest, but you can control how you handle their reactions. Stay calm, remain respectful, and keep your own emotional equilibrium. By mastering this art of graceful exits, you'll not only preserve your own peace of mind, but also set a powerful example of emotional maturity. Reclaiming your time, the ultimate act of self-respect. How much of your life have you spent trying to rekindle someone else's interest in you? It's a sobering question, isn't it? We often don't realize how much precious time we waste chasing after people or opportunities that have clearly moved on. But here's the truth. Reclaiming that time is one of the most powerful acts of self-respect you can perform. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't meant to be morbid, but a reminder of the finite nature of our time. Every moment you spend trying to regain someone's interest is a moment you're not investing in your own growth, passions, or relationships that truly value you. Practicing this Stoic principle means being ruthlessly honest with yourself. Are you hanging on to a situation out of habit, fear, or a misguided sense of loyalty? Or are you truly deriving value and growth from it? If it's the former, it's time to reclaim your time and energy. Start small. Set boundaries around your time. Learn to say no to engagements that don't serve your highest good. Gradually, extend this practice to bigger aspects of your life: relationships, career choices, personal projects. Remember, every no to something that doesn't truly interest you is a yes to your own growth and self-respect. By valuing your time, you send a powerful message to yourself and others about your worth. You demonstrate that your attention and energy are precious resources, not to be squandered on those who don't appreciate them. This shift in mindset is transformative, placing you firmly in control of your life's direction. From reactivity to resilience, forging an unshakable mindset. Here's a bold claim: mastering your response to others' desperation is the key to unlocking unparalleled personal power. When you can stand firm in the face of emotional manipulation, guilt trips, and desperate pleas for attention, you've developed a mental fortitude that will serve you in every area of life. The journey from reactivity to resilience isn't easy, but it's incredibly rewarding. It starts with recognizing that most of our knee-jerk reactions, the guilt, the desire to please, the fear of confrontation, are learned behaviors. They're not set in stone. With practice and the right mindset, you can rewire these responses. Stoicism offers powerful tools for this transformation. One key practice is negative visualization. Regularly imagine scenarios where people react badly to your disinterest. Picture them trying to manipulate you, guilt-trip you, or even lash out. Now mentally rehearse staying calm and centered in these situations. This exercise builds your psychological immune system, making you more resilient when faced with real-life, desperate behaviors. Another Stoic technique is the dichotomy of control. Train yourself to quickly identify what's within your control in any given situation, usually just your own thoughts and actions, and what isn't, other people's feelings and reactions. This mental habit helps you avoid getting entangled in fruitless attempts to manage others' emotions. Practicing mindfulness is also crucial. When faced with someone's desperate attempts to regain your interest, pause, take a breath. Observe your own emotional reactions without immediately acting on them. This creates a space between stimulus and response, allowing you to choose your actions rather than simply reacting. Remember, resilience isn't about becoming cold or unfeeling. It's about developing the strength to stay true to yourself and your values, even when faced with emotional storms. It's about having the courage to maintain healthy boundaries, even when others push against them. As you cultivate this unshakable mindset, you'll find that not only do you handle others' desperation more effectively, but you become more grounded and confident in all areas of life. You'll make decisions based on your values rather than others' expectations. You'll pursue your goals with unwavering focus, undeterred by setbacks or others' opinions. In essence, you'll be forging the kind of mental strength that sets you apart from 99% of people. You've just unlocked the power of Stoic indifference, but here's the thing, this is only the beginning of your journey. Think you're ready to face any challenge? Think again. In this video we dive even deeper. Don't miss out on this crucial next step in your Stoic evolution. Your future, wiser self will thank you.